Welcome to the SVG-TV News for Thursday, June 4th. I'm Khalil Cato with the details. There are 5 pending PCR test results which are said to be from the 34 Vincentians repatriated home yesterday from the United Kingdom. This is according to Health Minister Luke Brown, who told SVG-TV News via telephone that on arrival at the Argyle International Airport, the nationals were processed according to the established repatriation protocols aimed at minimizing the risk of any new introduction of COVID-19 to SVG.
Because there was a flight which brought in about 34 Vincentians, I think, 29 of them being repatriated from a cruise ship based in Europe and a few other citizens who were overseas. The persons would be processed according to the standard protocols, and I think that the repatriation protocols have been disseminated. No, I think that those pending results would have to do with the persons who recently came into country.
The minister said today that an additional 30 persons were released from quarantine.
A change in the number of persons in quarantine as of this moment. In public quarantine, I think we now have 9 persons overall. I believe that, this is between quarantine and isolation, essentially. We have 9 persons overall. They were up to, I think, 29 persons. So 20 individuals have been released from public quarantine over the past few days. In the past 24 hours, we've actually had, I think it was 30 persons overall released from quarantine. So the quarantine numbers are going down.
To date, SVG has 26 confirmed COVID-19 cases, 11 of which are active, with 15 recoveries. And the health minister is positive that in-country testing for COVID-19 can commence in earnest on Monday, May 8th. He said 10 local lab technicians had to be trained to conduct the PCR tests by the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, which has so far been successful.
It seems as if we're now going to be definitely able to commence our PCR testing from Monday next week. I know that we are going to start running some tests as a part of a training exercise as early as Saturday. Going right now, thanks to PAHO, who is helping us with the training of the lab staff. The training has both theoretical and practical aspects that's ongoing. So we have the training ongoing, we have the machinery in place, the machines in place, and all the supporting infrastructure. So we are finally basically almost ready, where you have a PCR machine available, which is considered to be the gold standard of testing for COVID-19. But we will still use rapid tests, but as has always been the case, we would use the PCR machine for diagnosis purposes and for establishing if somebody could be considered to be medically cleared.
Minister Brown noted that a facility properly suited to conduct the testing had to be identified and prepared to meet certain standards.
I could report that we have an annex to our lab which has been customized to more or less facilitate the testing of samples via PCR. Well, we have a special facility, a special laboratory facility located on the grounds of the nurses' hostel, where we also have the Lewis Pool at home. There's a building on that compound which has been retrofitted to serve as the testing site. We had to do some retrofitting work at that site.
To date, 595 persons have been tested using PCR at the Caribbean Public Health Agency in Trinidad and Tobago. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment on Wednesday signed a service contract with Global Medica for CT scan and X-ray machines at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. Under this contract, the ministry would be able to get the replacement parts required to fix the CT scan machine at the hospital. The machine is currently out of service, and the ministry said it is working very hard to get it back online as soon as possible. Global Medica is part of a multinational group with operations in South America and the Caribbean, with more than 30 years of accumulated experience in sales, service support, original manufactured parts, and dedicated supplies. A striving economy will make so many things better for Vincentians. So says opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday, who on radio this week said his aim is to make SVG prosperous again by creating more jobs and economic opportunities.
Hospitals will run better. You'll have bandages, you will have medicine in the hospitals. The potholes that people are dodging around St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be a thing of the past. I mean, it's imagine that you're paying so much more now for your licenses for vehicles and you're getting so much less for it because the poor state of the roads in our country. We need to focus on the things that make life better for the people in this country. And the number one priority is to create economic opportunity. Jobs for our people, business opportunities for our local business people, and then to invest the monies that government has in creating proper healthcare system for the people.
Dr. Friday said while the NDP supports the government's PRIME program to create business opportunities for young people, the program must be carefully managed to be effective.
When there are any programs that would provide opportunity to young people, yes, but they have to be administered in a way that make them effective. They can't just be handouts for party favorites, and they can't be done on the basis of political affiliation rather than on, the how good an idea you have, how good a business plan you have put forward, and how capable you might seem as somebody who can succeed in the venture. PRIME is a grant that is given to somebody who to start up and to run a business. It shouldn't be a handout just for on political basis. It shouldn't be just simply to do a favor for someone. It should be based on proper analysis and vetting of the projects to make sure that the people who get the grants are the people who are the most deserving of it, irrespective of their political affiliation. So that is the proviso, the caution that I would add to the way in which these things have been administered in the past under this administration, and to urge that it not be done going forward.
Meanwhile, on radio yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said another batch of PRIME grants are being processed by the Steering Committee for Cabinet approval. Dr. Gonsalves said within a short space of time, some 80 applications were submitted.
The committee has sent to him another 70 or 80 names for the PRIME and plus PRIME, which the determination will be made finally, and so you have more people getting the resources. I think
last month, 600,000 EC dollars were handed to 81 successful applicants. The grant monies ranged from $2,500 to the maximum $40,000. And with farmers being affected by the drought conditions, the Prime Minister said government is considering additional support for them. He said that the matter is being further discussed with the Ministers of Agriculture and Finance, who will decide on how to proceed.
Are being hit very hard, and I want to tell them that I understand that I'm there with them in solidarity. And I was talking to Sabota yesterday afternoon, and we are discussing some additional things which we want to do.
PM Gonsalves noted that the crops and the livestock value have been reduced due to COVID-19, which has been compounded by the prolonged drought.
Because people have lost a lot of crops because of the drought. And some people have lost animals, and the value of the animals declined because you go into certain areas just very, very dry. So we have had three things upon us. Apart from all the pre-existing matters, we have had the drought, which has been long and more severe, the worst in about 50 years. Then we have that at the same time with COVID.
The SVG Coast Guard Service is currently engaged in a search and rescue operation for a missing 14-foot green and white vessel named Unstoppable, which was reported missing on May 30th at around 8:30 p.m. with 2 persons on board, namely Mikel Kwashi of Magum and one gentleman who goes by the name of Blanco of Bookament. According to reports, the vessel left Bookament Bay at 10 a.m. on Saturday, May 30th to fish off Canawan, but developed engine problems just off Beckway. Upon receipt of the report by the Coast Guard Service, the information was disseminated to local coastal ports and also a request for checks to be conducted at ports and harbors. A news release from the police says the SVG Coast Guard vessel SVG-07, transiting between the Coast Guard base at Kalyaquah and Canawan, conducted a surface search, which resulted in a negative sighting of the vessel, and the Regional Security System RSS Airwing Operations Center was subsequently informed and a request made for assistance with an aerial search for the vessel. The police say requests for assistance were also sent to the Maritime Rescue Coordination Center in Trinidad and Tobago and Martinique and the Joint Rescue Coordination Center JRCC in Curaçao. Several searches thus far have resulted in negative sightings of the missing vessel. However, the police say that the search and rescue operations by the SVG Coast Guard and its partners are ongoing. The first of 3 persons who died after sustaining burns about their bodies in the Union Island gas station fire was laid to rest yesterday. Freddie Neert, the owner of the gas station, who sustained first-degree burns in the explosion, was laid to rest at the Ashton Cemetery in Union Island, where he lived for 20 years after migrating from Belgium. At his funeral service, tributes were read on behalf of Neert's relatives in Belgium who could not be present due to travel restrictions. Messages were also read for his 6-year-old daughter.
That she loves her daddy with all of her heart. She wants everybody to know, even she said her daddy must know that she will always love her daddy. She said she remember when her daddy brought her to Union without her money, and she had a good time with her daddy. She said that she heard that her daddy get born. And when it happened, I was so shocked that I could not even speak. I never get to speak with my dad from that moment.
Freddie quit school when he was 15 years old. From then on, he continued to work daily 16 hours. The job he did during his lifetime included plumbing, electrician, warehouse manager, farmer, hotel director, petrol station, pizza, restaurant, etc. His dream was to be buried in Union Island, where he spent his last 20 years and was happy to be part of Union Island community.
He shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff will comfort me.
The other 2 victims, 12-year-old Lindini Neverson and 17-year-old Shaquania Azaria Alexander, will be laid to rest on Sunday, May 7th. On radio yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said the body of Alexander, who passed in Trinidad where she was seeking medical treatment for 2nd and 3rd-degree burns, returned home on Monday.
Her body came in on Monday. So we had to get Trinidad again to open the borders to bring back her body. I know that on Sunday evening there was a vigil, candlelight vigil in Union Island. I'm keeping in touch with what is happening and with people connected to members of the families. It's a sad thing. The report on the fire, spoke to the commission about it this morning, The investigation is being done, and I'm anxious to receive the report.